Today we're going to be making sweet and spicy pickles. This is a refrigerator pickle, and so it's only going to take a couple of days for it to sit in the fridge and it'll be ready to eat. So we're starting out with a cucumber, and we're going to use the mandolin so you get those really thin slices. And you can do this with a knife. My knife skills are not that good. And so I'm going to cut up enough of these to make 1 pound. Okay, so now we're going to cut up an onion to put in there. Here's the root end, and I was cutting it down this way. And then we're going to cut it just in half this way. And then make slices out of it on the end. You're going to probably want about half an onion. Okay, so now I've got some jalapenos here, and I have halved them and took out the seeds in the center. And you can either, leave these in slices, or you can dice it. I'm preferring to dice it. And it said about 2 jalapenos. These are kind of small, so I may do more. It depends on how hot you want your pickles. Okay, so now that I have my onions and cucumbers and jalapenos all cut up, we're going to put them in the jar. Now this is just a jar that I had saved from some salsa. You don't need anything fancy, just as long as it has a seal that you can seal. So you can even put this in a bowl if you wanted. But we're going to do this I am going to do this in a jar, and so we already have our cucumbers already in there. And then we're just going to kind of individually open up the onions and put some onion in here. By the way, this makes 2 pint jars. And we want to fill this as much as possible. So at first, like I said, we've got our onion, and then we're going to put in some jalapeno. And then I'm going to take some more cucumber and probably finish the top until it's completely filled. Okay, so now we're at the stove, and we're going to make the brine for our pickles. And this is going to start out with 1 cup of apple cider vinegar. We're going to do a 1/2 cup of water, 3/4 cup of just regular sugar, and you can reduce that by 1/4 cup if it's too sweet. And then we're going to do 1 tablespoon of salt. And then we're going to do 2 teaspoons of black peppercorns. Alright, now we're just going to warm this up just long enough for the sugar to dissolve is all we're looking for. We don't need it super hot. And so you're just going to stir it until you know that all the sugar has dissolved off of the bottom. Okay, so we warmed it up and everything is dissolved really well, and now we're just going to pour this over into the jars over our cucumbers. And you're going to want to fill that all the way to the top until everything is covered. Then you just put the lid on it, and you're going to put it in the refrigerator for at least 2 days before enjoying them. And they're going to last in there for probably about 2 weeks. I hope you enjoy this recipe and have a blessed week.